3 times. 4 times. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clocks, hustle what business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned spin on the same. Couldn't rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you push your low. Black men don't teach screaming body. Whole talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing on Mercedes Benz. Won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real man talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peak these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing gang things. Mono. Living super clean. That came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of in the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Semino. BS help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Shalom and shalom. Good evening to you, wherever you are. Thank you for being here with me. You could be anywhere else on this worldwide internet, but you were here with me, and I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody popping in on the live on my TikTok. So nice of you guys to be here. This is kind of like my first time trying to do the show live on TikTok. So we'll see how that goes. Like, share, subscribe. Join the conversation. If you want to head over to the YouTube at Miss Mono's World, you can do that. So you can be a part of the chat and everything else. A lot going on today. First, my shirts. If you've been seeing the flyers for the F3 Fringed Up Family Fest, these shirts will be available on the website. I need to make a caption for the website, but these shirts will be available on the website. Where you can buy tickets on the website and everything else. So if you like my shirts, you shall be able to get yours. All right. So all right, just to let you guys know, we are an official sponsor of so you will see me in this shirt until such a time as the event. So listen, a lot going on today, right? But the main topic, exposing the divine feminine. I just felt the need to get into this because this divine feminine dating, coaching, teaching style is just kind of rampant all over the internet. So I wanted to get into it because I see a lot of my sisters are are attracted to this teaching, this philosophy. So we're gonna get into that. What's going on in Babylon? What's going on at Target, I think, is going to be the main question. If you're on my TikTok, head over to the YouTube at Miss Mono's World. Feel free to join in the conversation. I don't know if y'all seen what's going on at Target, right? But they've released a new line of swimwear, and the swimwear mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get my audio straight. My bad to the folks on the TikTok. I'm back. Okay, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. At Miss Mono's World and also at Monologue Magad. Shout out to the world's best husband, Mr. MONOLOGMAGAD. If you're not following us on the socials, follow us on the socials. Okay, but like I was telling you guys, the bathing suits with the instructions for tucking, the tuck-friendly bathing suits, they're available at Target, and they're in the kids section, okay? Not only that, Target has pride friendly, I guess, pride themed clothing for children, right? And I've been seeing the calls for the boycott. Everybody's like, boycott Target, boycott Target. Even though this is not the first time that Target has expressed some left leaning ideology, this is not the first time that Target has made a statement that has been controversial. So it's kind of like, do you bother to boycott? At this point, do we bother to boycott anymore? Is it worth it to even go through all of that? Does it even matter? But apparently Target is listening, because a lot of conservative groups, okay, are now putting forth more of an organized boycott. So now McCary 76, hi. So now they have now Target is kind of starting to listen, not so much in like pulling this stuff off the shelves, but they're having meetings, they're talking about it. People are concerned now, because it's like, wait a minute, our customer base is not liking what we're doing here. A lot of the commentary on social media is comparing this to Bud Light and what they pulled when they featured the that man, Dylan, I forgot what his last name is, but they featured him dressed as a woman in their commercials. Their customer base was upset about that. So they're thinking that Target is going to follow in the same, line. So here's my thing, okay? It is wrong as all get out. I'm not excusing a sinful lifestyle at all. But when you're talking about people with their kids, right? Unfortunately, unfortunately, in this world we live in now, um, you can't you're not allowed to just stop at that one thing, right? Um, it like, I hate to say these kind of things, like, I hate to have to be in this position, right? But I don't want anyone infringing upon my rights. I don't want anyone infringing upon my rights at all. And here comes the argument for homeschooling, and I know a lot of people feel like this may not have anything to do with it, but it does, okay? Because if I'm teaching my children at home, if we're teaching our children at home what we want them to know, we don't have to worry about them being indoctrinated by someone else for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. We don't have to worry about that, because they're at home with us and we know what they're learning, right? So it doesn't matter what's at Target, what's on television, that becomes irrelevant, because I know when I'm teaching my child at home and they're not going to be swayed by what's going on in the world, okay? The problem is we don't have enough parents with the liberty, and it's all done on purpose. I'm not blaming the parents. Let's be clear about that. I am not saying that this is the parents' fault for having to work to earn a living, okay? Boo capitalism, all right? Because it's all in the name of capitalism that two people have to work now, that one income is not enough to support your average family. Okay, so I get it. It's all these circumstances that have led up to this point. Okay. Which brings me back to the original question, right? Is it worth it to boycott Target? No, I don't agree. The fact of the matter is, I don't agree with a lot of these things that these companies stand for. If you look at the symbolism, if you look at the names of the company, even if you want to get into the people that own the company, run the company, I probably we people who think like me probably do not agree with the majority of what these people do, say, think, or how they live. But in this world that we live in, are you ever going to get away from it? Because, okay, we're going to boycott Target. And then where are we going to go where there's no pride material available for children? Where are we going to go? Because just because it's blown up at Target doesn't mean that this is not at Walmart, that this is not at Kohl's, that this is not at where else? Where are you gonna go where this is not available? There are no um prominent conservative right-leaning, strictly right-leaning, because even if you think about it, like even the conservative movement, the far right, whatever, they now have homosexuals in that group. They have accepted homosexuality and alternative lifestyles within this group. Even, people who we would have considered Christians, evangelicals, in certain parts of their population, alternative lifestyles are accepted. So again, I say, if I boycott Targets, where am I gonna go? That's all I'm saying. But we'll see, because everybody's like, oh, they made such a difference with Bud Light, but did they really? Because Bud Light has not closed. I have not seen any kind of bankruptcy predictions. I have not seen any news of financial doom more than I have seen with any other company at this time that we're in economically, with all the talk of inflation and stuff like that. So is it working? I don't know if it's working. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you feel led to lend to the lights, cameras, actions that you see going on here, please feel free to head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. All right, so I had another segment for what's going on in Babylon, but I'm telling, listen, y'all, we have been working, okay? All praise to the Most High. It's all good work, no complaints at all. We have been working. And as you know, like when you add things onto your plate, it's a restructuring of the schedule that has to occur. So I am in the middle of trying to work more things into my schedule. I need an extra pair of arms and legs, another brain, preferably, to handle those things would be good as well. But let's just get into our main topic, okay? Exposing the divine feminine. And I want to take my time with this conversation because this is something that is emerging. All right, it's emerging, but it's kind of always been there. As we know, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, please feel free to join the conversation. Hop in the chat, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let me. All right, let's start from the beginning. And the kind of person I am, I would just like to come and say, listen, it's been going on a long time. See, and that's it. But I understand that this needs to be discussed. This needs to be broken down and talked about, because I see a lot of people falling into it and not realizing for what it is. Okay. Um, so at its inception, right? When someone says to you that they're tapping into their divine feminine, that they want to empower their divine feminine, at its inception, that might sound good and godly, right? Like, oh, divine, yes, like heavenly, like, oh, she's trying to be a heavenly type of it lends itself to sounding good and peaceful and moral and biblical. It can sound like that. However, okay, uh once you even a simple Google of the divine feminine will show you that this has nothing to do with the Bible at all. Okay? There's nothing godly about this. There's nothing holy about it. There's none of that about this, okay? If you remember, well, let's do this because I want to show you guys some things here. So hold on a second here. I want to show you examples. And here's the thing, right? When I show you this, you're probably gonna be like, oh my goodness, I remember this from school because this is the kind of stuff that they showed us. Showed it to us, not explaining what it was all the way completely, of course, right? Okay, so let's go through this article, okay? The first thing you see here, the early divine feminine, Gaia in ancient Greek mythology, okay? So this goes way back. This is not new. And the Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun. Um Something that I feel like is brushed over kind of is the fact that hold on, let me fix my screen here, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Something that I feel like, well, no, it does get looked over. The origin of these ancient the ancient history that we learned, okay? When we learned about early civilizations and they showed us, all of their sculptures and their works, they never fully explained to us everything that was going on behind this, okay? So, what you have we've all seen, or I think the majority of us have seen the Venus of Willendorf, right? This is what you when you're learning about the Sumerians and their early civilizations, they show you the Venus of Willendorf because this is what they use to pray to and to symbolize their fertility. Let's read it here. This figure is most definitely associated with the concept of fertility, pregnancy, and birth. A characteristic of the Paleolithic Venus is the lack of a face. So as to place emphasis on the female body and what it signifies, namely fertility and child rearing, rather than the face. And they're saying that like because it's human identification, and that's not what they were worried about. They were worried about childbirth and fertility. You got to remember, this we're talking about a long time ago. No, there were no hospitals. Women were giving birth in fields. I mean, if you saw Game of Thrones and stuff like that, like you've seen, like that really happened. They were giving birth outside. So it's a big deal. It's like a big issue to them. Um, Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It's like when you hear about people worshiping the sun and you're trying to understand that, but when you understand that these people were cold and it was dark and the sun was their only source of light, now you can say, "Oh, okay, I kind of understand how they could have got into that." Okay, so imagine that time, these women are going through this. They have no idea that there's no pregnancy test, there's no ultrasounds. You kind of just chance it, get pregnant, and so on and so forth. So, fertility and this concept of fertility is like very important to them as it is now. I'm not saying it's not now, but even more back then. Okay, so you see the different evolution this divine feminine. You had the Venus of Willendorf, then you had the Malta, I believe, the last one, and then the snake goddess of ancient Crete. Okay. So this divine feminine, this figure is traveling throughout history. Let's read about this one. These statuettes date back to the 16th century. The snake goddess, as she is called, represents a very sensual female with exposed breasts who holds snake in her hands. The bare breast may symbolize sexuality, or fertility, or the supply of breast milk. And the snakes are often connected with the concept of regeneration, the underworld, and healing. Okay. Now let's get into this one. The divine feminine in Egypt, the goddess Mot. And I know, if you get into Egyptology, you study any of this stuff, you've heard of Mot before. So, um, in the art and culture of ancient Egypt, we also come across the worship of an array of female deities who were associated with values, morality, and order, as well as with women's fertility, menstruation, conception, and the supply of breast milk. The Egyptian deity Mot represented truth, justice, balance, and cosmic harmony. Okay. So this is not anything new. This whole principle of the divine feminine. This is nothing special. It's not. It's been going on since the beginning of time. Okay. And as you read on into bringing this divine feminine into modern times, the goddess that a lot of my sisters seem to be worshiping now is this goddess from the African pantheon named Ocean. And she embodies these same powers of fertility, rebirth, regeneration. There's a focus now on prosperity and abundance as well. Okay. And here, the thing is, we've been so raised to call this out in church, that sometimes we forget to look for it in the world. What I mean by that is a lot of my sisters and cousins are get on this internet, and they spew advice and tips for women who unfortunately are at a loss. They have a void that they are looking to have filled in their life. And whether through their own decision or because they just not have come upon it, they have not found, have not seen, have not experienced the value of following the word of God. So they are out looking for other things. Okay. And it is easy to fall into, and this is especially why this spirit of this divine feminine needs to be exposed, right? Because it is that mothering, feminine, nurturing, come here, let me take care of you. That kind of soft affect that injured women especially are looking for. This is who this is for, injured, hurt women. And look at it. The whole concept of the divine feminine is this idea of balancing out the masculine, patriarchal power of God. Let's be real. It's an affront to the most high. It's kind of like, and this is my words, to me it feels like they're telling the most high, like, no, you don't deserve to have all this power alone. There has to be some woman that you share it with. And we see what do we see where that thinking has led us? And if you look at Eve, okay? And I hate to listen, I hate to do this, right? Because I feel like a lot of people use Eve to beat down on black women, right? A lot of times that word is just thrown around like ridicule and scalding and punishment. It's just thrown out there to shut her up. Like, oh, they'll just call you Eve to shut you up. So I don't like to bring that out too much. But when we're talking about women, not when we're talking about women stepping out of line and not staying in their place, I mean, number one example, we're gonna have to go to Eve. And her sin was the cause of the fall of humanity, okay? So that's just the start of it. The problem is, we're in this world now where equality is the goal. Everyone wants to be equal. Everything has to be equal. Everything has to be quote unquote balanced. And the fact of the matter is that is not up for us as human beings to decide how that balance plays out. How does this relate to dating and using this divine feminine principle? The divine feminine in dating and marriage seeks to make herself equal with the man, with the husband. She says to her man, I'm here. You are to provide for me. As a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, she does not seek to be equal. She seeks to be superior and have her man in a subservient position. If you listen to these women's advice, it's always about how to trick a man, how to fool a man, how to play games with a man, how to make yourself seem unattainable so that he falls in love with you. How to play word games to get him to pay your bills. Anything, ladies, this is me talking here. Anything that any advice, any tool, any instruction that you are being given that is against the word of God, in my mind, that is witchcraft. That is witchcraft. You are walking in straight rebellion. The Most High did not tell you to dress seductively, to go out on a date, to butter this man up, to get him to pay your bills. No, that is not it is in the Bible. It's called whoredom. But then y'all get mad if someone calls you a whore. But see, what you don't realize is a lot of these divine feminine goddesses, if you look into their stories, a lot of them were whores. A lot of them committed incest. A lot of them committed adultery. They all had tragic endings. Ocean killed herself. This goddess that you all seem to worship, that you all follow Beyonce and worshiping, because she made it no secret that this is who she was emulating in that whole lemonade visual. That wasn't a secret. But you better not dare say nothing about Beyonce. Y'all be ready to cut somebody's head off. Meantime, she's leading y'all all to hell. And so you have these women now, and here's my thing, right? There are some women who don't hide it. They will tell you straight up, I'm a witch. You can come to me for your psychic reading, for your tarot cards, for your astrology. Cool in the gang. Say what you are. My issue is the ones that try to act like they are some kind of benign, well-meaning presence, knowing good and well that they are communing with familiar spirits. That's my problem. Because as a lot of us are coming out of the black church and leaving the church, realizing that, hey, that's not the answer. We are just, instead of just saying, okay, the teacher was wrong, the messenger was wrong, but the foundation is still right, we are totally ignoring the foundation, period. You know, that's like if somebody tells you, hey, look both ways before you cross the street, look both ways before you cross the street, and then you see them go out and get hit by a car. Are you going to stop looking both ways before you cross the street? No. You're like, well, just because that dummy got it wrong. But we won't stop and do that. And I really think a lot of people are using, no, I'm pretty sure that people are using what is being revealed in this time as an excuse to abandon their responsibilities to the Most High. They're abandoning their responsibility to keep the law and commandments. They're abandoning their responsibility to live right. And listen here, I get it, okay? Because once the truth start being revealed to me, I just totally step back. Like my prayer life suffered. I didn't even listen to no gospel music. I was scared to pick up the Bible for a long time because it's like, what have I been reading? What have I been doing? Who have I been talking to? If now I'm finding out that all of this isn't true anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. If you're on my TikTok, thank you so much for joining me. Head on over to the YouTube at Miss Mono's World. Feel free to join the conversation. So, like, as you see, this has been around for a long time, right? And if you go back and study these mythologies, which mythology is really just religions of other people. We just call it mythology because these civilizations don't exist anymore. But the fact of the matter is their gods still do. We just, they're just called different names. Ocean is Isis. Ocean is Isis and Aphrodite and Venus and oh my gosh, Diana and Mary. And I know a lot of people don't want to realize this, okay, but the whole Mother of Mary worship, that's divine feminine in Catholicism. This divine feminine spirit lives off of seduction and that it is what it is set out to do. I want us to start praying for discernment, okay? Because again, a lot of women get on here and present themselves as well-meaning and even what's even shystier. We just don't we've lost the ability to look at someone and read their spirit, if I must say that, to discern, okay? And I'm gonna be honest, like some stuff just ain't that hard to figure out. If I turn on my screen and in front of me is a woman who is heavily made up, hair's not hers. She done changed her face and her neck is two different colors. And now don't get me wrong. Y'all know I love makeup. I love hair. I love beauty. Okay. I love a good mascara. I love a nice foundation. But ma'am, sis cousin, if you are changing your skin color and then changing it back again, no. If we cannot recognize, if you wipe your makeup off right now and there's a different person under there, you have taken it too far. And also, let me advise you, okay, if you are observing these people, if you are watching these people and you can look at them and see that they have, I want to say unintentionally put on a mask, and I say unintentionally loosely because they know they putting on all that makeup. I don't know if, I don't want to just assume that they understand everything that goes along with it, right? But if you're looking at someone and you can tell that what they are presenting is not what they really are, that should be a sign. If a woman is speaking to you of how to lie and steal and cheat and manipulate, the problem is we don't recognize that as attributes of the divine feminine, right? Because she's the mother goddess and she's all about rebirth and life and not remembering that who was it? Semiramis had sex with who she had her husband died. She had sex with someone else and then tried to say that the rays of the sun is what got her pregnant. You have the story of Isis and Osiris, right? Didn't he die and then she got pregnant and tried to say that, oh, it was him that came back from the dead and impregnated her? So you have a tradition of women lying about having sex with other men. But these are the goddesses that you choose to follow. So when someone is listen, it's all the same. When someone is coming to you with this package of lies and telling you that yes, this is how you get the life you want by lying, are we so desperate that we can't realize that hold up, something's not right about this? Lying to the point of hiding themselves. Again, I love makeup. Don't get me wrong. But when the women have on so much makeup that you can't tell the difference between a real woman and a trans woman anymore because the real women are now looking like the trans women. If I'm lying, y'all wear the same wigs, y'all wear the same makeup, the same amount of makeup. Why are you as a regular woman doing all that underpainting? You don't boo. You not trying to soften up jawlines and an Adam's apple. Why are you doing all that? What are you trying to hide? We don't even pay attention to what's going on around us. Our world is falling apart. Like, are y'all not paying attention? And instead of you trying to find a good, solid man with a good head on his shoulders, you out here trying to look for an old sucker with one foot on a banana peel and one foot in the grave. And what good is that gonna do you in life? Because y'all act like y'all haven't heard stories of these old men marrying these young women. And then when the old man dies, here comes his family saying, she's not getting none of my daddy's money. Because he don't bother to sign that will. And why should he? You didn't help him earn anything. Women who look for men like that don't want anything better out of life. And with that kind of behavior, ma'am, sis cousin, you deserve whatever you get. So when he gets bored and tired of you, when he's tired of your lies and he's tired of your games, or something happens to you and you can't keep up the facade anymore, you finally start to get a conscience and you start saying, I can't do this anymore. Then what? Because it's listen, you can't keep up a lie is not going to last forever. Mary Lou, shalom and shalom. A lie is not going to last forever. You're not going to keep being able to pull the wool over this man's eyes. And I heard one of these divine feminine advisors say, oh, the kind of man you're looking for isn't on TikTok. Yes, you know why? Because he's too smart to fall for that bull crap. And see, this is what's so crazy. They go out here and they build up these armies These armies of women. And if you look, the women that follow them are all the same. They're broken, they're single, they're looking for something. You never see whole, complete, happily married women going along with that crap because that is not how to have a whole, complete, and happy relationship. Would you want somebody gaming you like that? See, a man can smile up in your face and say whatever he want and do whatever he want to get your coochie, but he's a dog and he's evil. Oh, but when you want to finesse a nigga, you not a dog and you not evil. Y'all want to play the game, but you don't want the same rules to apply. And this is why the Bible advises you as a woman to stay in your place. See, y'all don't understand. They call it a game because that junk is harsh. It is harsh. It's a sport for men and whores. And if you're not trying to be a whore, stop trying to be a whore. You're not made for that. You're not made to be out here rough and tumble being passed in the streets. You know how I know you're not made for it? Because you're sitting up crying lonely right now today. Right now today, you lonely. You're crying, trying to figure out what went wrong, why he won't call me back, why I can't get a text back, because you out here trying to be something that you're not. You're trying to be something that you are not. You're trying to play with the pros, and baby, you ain't even made it out the pee-wee. And you're not. Here's the kicker. The gag is you're not supposed to. Listen, all of us women are not the same. All right? Everybody can't be a lady. They can't. We all have to accept that. We all have different destinies, okay? So, what I'm going to say is if you're listening to this, whether you're listening to it live on the replay, your destiny is not to be for the streets. It's not for you to be for the streets. Sit your behind down somewhere and figure yourself out. Because picking up another goddess, picking up a false religion, picking up another lie is not going to do anything but push you further away from the Most High and what He has for your life. And hear what I'm saying. Yes, the Most High has mercy. Yes, He will keep you. But guess what? Those blessings and the people that He has around you, why should He hold them up because you want to be disobedient? You were supposed to meet your husband at 5:00 this afternoon. But instead of you being where God had you to be, you was off somewhere trying to sneak and do something else, and you done missed that. And so now why should this man be kept from a wife? Because you don't want to be obedient. And see, now when you come back 10 years later and decide, okay, I want to do right, but you tired of waiting on a husband, babe, you got nobody to blame but yourself. And I'm not saying this in a way to condemn, but I need us to face reality and turn the lights on. King Connect, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me. I need us to face reality, right? It's your own fault because you kept procrastinating and kept waiting to get yourself together. Like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up if you are at Miss Mono's World or at Monologue Magad. If you're on the TikTok, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live or when I go live, which I'm going to start doing a lot more. I really am. Check out my vlogs, y'all. I've been making vlogs and posting them on my YouTube at Miss Mono's World. I put them up on my IG and my Facebook. Check them out, y'all. I'll be trying to let y'all peek into my life and my shows and everything we got going on around here. So let's get back to this divine feminine. And I'm going to tell y'all something, right? Because I've seen women try to use this principle. And every woman that I've seen try to use this principle has made a very big mistake. The women that I have seen try to use this principle have tried to use it on good men, like good dudes. Here's the thing. if it is not in a man to take care of, to provide for, to pay bills for, to if it's not in a man to provide for a woman, he's not going to provide for you no matter what you do. I don't care how much you bat your eyes, cross your legs, run your finger up and down his beard. He gonna sit there and giggle in your face until he get what he want and he can leave. Now, the problem is there are some men who it's in them to be providers, right? He don't mind taking a chick on a date, you know what I'm saying? Paying for a little snacky snack at the movie. There's some good men out there who don't mind putting the effort into a good relationship. But y'all 304s go out here and prey on these good men. And then when you get bored, right? Because it in my experience, in my witnessing, and I'm not saying I've never done it. I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done it. In my experience and in my witnessing, once you get bored, because he's not going to get bored with you more than likely. He's not. He likes you, okay? It's in him to like you. It's in him to be generous to a woman that he likes, right? So he likes you. He's not going to leave you. You're going to get bored with him because you're no good, right? And you ain't worth ish and you're just on to the next adventure anyway, right? So once the thrill of that catch calms down and you get bored with him and you toss him to the side and then you end up with the every woman that I have seen holds on to this principle always ends up with a man 10 steps worse than the one she tried to run the game on. 10 like I can tell you stories of women who were dating men who had nice jobs, own barbershops, worked at insurance companies, just had good stable jobs, you know what I'm saying? Financially stable, some wealthy, some just okay, but still stable and willing to provide for them and their children, right? But being so caught up in this whole expression of, well, I deserve whatever I want, and people are just here to serve me, and the world is at my disposal, and it doesn't matter if I lose that man because there'll be another one coming in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and I know I've got the power to attract them and make them do whatever I want. Ma'am, sis, cousin, one day you're not gonna look so hot anymore. And I'm just keeping it real with y'all, right? I never wanted to be the old lady in the club. I never wanted to be that. Never. Um, but that's how a lot of y'all wind up. The old lady in the club looking around at the young boys, sitting around, and unfortunately, we don't black women, we don't like to take accountability for anything. So instead of us being honest with the next generation and saying, baby, I should have kept my legs closed until I got married. Honey, I should have took some time to get to know myself and meet me a good, decent man. I should have explored my interests in life and met someone on that path. Instead of us being honest and telling our daughters and our nieces and our cousins, telling them the truth about our mistakes and what we should have done different, we'll blame it on the men. We'll blame it on the men. I'm ready to check it out. Right? We'll sit there and tell our daughters and our nieces and our cousins, oh, all men are no good. Black men are dogs. All they do is leave their women and their children. They ain't good for nothing. Niggas ain't, you know how we like to talk instead of telling the truth. And here's the problem, right? if someone is not advising you, I can't even say that. I can't even say that. I want to say that if someone is not advising you from the word of God, that should be a red flag. No, that should be a red flag. I'm going to say that. That should be a red flag. It should be. And I'm not saying that someone proclaiming the Bible should be 100%. I'm not saying that. Pull these people resumes. Y'all go through these people's channels before you decide, oh, I like what this person is saying. This is somebody I think I can follow, especially when you're dealing with life issues. Now, I'm not talking about little comical stuff. Like, it's a couple of other housewives that I follow on YouTube and I watch their vlogs and stuff, but it's housewife stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about similar things. But when I'm talking about people advising you, leading you, you understand what I'm saying? Like these quote unquote dating gurus, these women who claim to be giving you advice for the rest of your life. Go through their channels, pull their resumes. If you go through, a lot of times you will find videos on tapping into the dark divine feminine. Okay. What is the dark divine feminine? And how is that different from the divine feminine? Well, what you have to realize is, hey, on my TikTok, head over to the YouTube if you would like, at Miss Monos World, and my SSMONOSWORLD. I'm gonna have to start typing that because that is a lot to say. But so yeah, you have these dating gurus, and okay, the difference between the dark divine feminine and the divine feminine. So when you're dealing with witchcraft, you will find that a lot of them consider themselves light witches or witches of the light, and they feel like their work is just work. Like, yes, they still use witchcraft, but they only use it, for people's good and not to harm anyone or not to do anything bad. Okay. And then you have dark witchcraft, which is self-explanatory. Like, they don't try to hide that they will use their powers for, whatever they want to use them for. So, same thing with this divine feminine and the dark divine feminine. But we as Bible believers know that it's all wrong. It's all evil. It's all satanic. Okay? But with the dark divine feminine, it's more of a gloves off approach. A dark divine feminine will brag about breaking up a marriage. A dark divine feminine will brag about terminating pregnancies, will brag about hurting a man's feelings, making him make a public display. Like, they will brag and boast about the evil that they commit. Okay. They claim to be able to use this dark divine feminine to get men to give them money. A lot of times when you find the seductresses, the one that claim that, oh, I can get a man to pay my bills, this is what they're tapping into, this dark feminine. Okay. And it's more of what you would expect when you hear dark divine feminine. It's the red lipstick, the pouty, the exaggeration of the female traits. Okay. And I'm not mad at a red lip. I love a red lip. Okay. But if I'm making a concerted effort to pop my lips out and hold them a certain way, okay, now I'm exaggerating. Now I'm purposely, if I, go through the effort to make my lashes just, and I know what y'all saying. It's like, no, that's funny. The lashes, they do be funny, okay? But the whole point behind them is to entice a man. Like, oh, if I, my lashes flutter enough and I can bat my eyes enough, then he'll be so enticed, he can't help but empty his wallet and give me his money. And I have to make sure I smell good. I have to make sure that I have on lacy things and soft things and satiny things, because when he looks at me, I want him to think sex and seduction, and I want him to have his guard down so that he'll be suggestible and susceptible to only me and what I say. And I know y'all might think I'm making this up, but I promise you, boo boo, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. And I know I want to think that men in, the younger age groups are not falling for it. Like, I want to think, like, ain't no way that anybody under 80 is falling for this garbage, right? That's what it's, a bunch of garbage. But you can't be too sure. All right. And also, my focus is on my sister. I don't want y'all falling for this and thinking that this is the way. You know what the Bible says about the feet of an adulterous woman. You know this. You know the Bible talks about staying away from women with sweet words and flattering tongues. Like, we already understand this. And so, Mams's cousin, that doesn't just apply to the brothers, that applies to you too. Stay away from anything that promises you everything you want in life but requires nothing from you. The Most High give you the life that you want, right? I don't. That's no secret. He wants you to live a good life. He'll give you the life that you want, but there's some conditions. There's conditions. He said, if you keep my commandments, then you'll be blessed when you come and when you go. Then your children will be blessed. Then you're finding everything you touch. Then if you do, then you will have. If you look at the blessings and the command, that's how it works. Honor your mother and your father so your days will be long on the earth. If you do, then you will have. If you keep my commandments, you won't be ill. There'll be no sickness among you. You'll be healthy. Your children will be healthy if you keep my commandments. But also, if you don't keep my commandments, this will befall you. You will be cursed. You won't have this. You won't have that. And so we, as a people, have found ourselves in the consequence of not keeping the law, right? Because that's how we ended up where we are. So we find ourselves in this consequence. And now, as some of us are coming of age, we're starting to realize, like, oh, shoot, I'm behind in life. I don't have the things that I think that I want. And now I'm starting to realize that this may not be a problem that I of myself can solve. I totally understand, as a Black woman, feeling like it's impossible to find a good man. I get it. There may not be any around you that you can tangibly, visibly, pinpoint, locate. Society is giving you this same message that Black men aren't any good, and all they're gonna do is leave you. And then here we go again. Not just society, our moms, our grandmas, our aunties are constantly telling us stories about how niggas ain't, constantly. So I totally can get the feeling that, oh my gosh, it's so impossible and I'm gonna end up alone. But Mams's cousin, let me just tell you, that witchcraft is not the answer. Okay. And I know a lot of y'all don't like it because for some reason astrology got y'all in a chokehold. But you need to understand something, that them 12 little setups of stars in the sky don't dictate anything. It does not dictate anything. So I'm not, and I don't, still got us in the chokehold because I don't understand. Because if it was the answer, then why aren't you in a better situation? Not just you, all right, but everybody around you. Because it's not the answer. I think what a lot of these people do is they pinpoint the one area in your life that you may feel like you're lacking in. And maybe it's not just one, right? But if you feel like you're lacking in love and romance, I mean not love and romance. If you feel like you're lacking in love and finance, if someone is offering you the answer to those problems, and again, not asking anything in return from you. And I pause when I say that because they give you instructions, right? It's like, oh, you got to dress like this, you got to do this, you got to start acting like that. But really, there's no sacrifice of obedience required. What do I mean by that? You're not having to give up any pleasures of your flesh in order to achieve this fake progression. Um, a lot of times you will find, and I'm sure some of you have, when you really start getting serious about the Most High and getting into your word and building up your prayer life, man, you just don't want to do certain things anymore. You don't want to watch certain things. You don't want to go to certain places. You don't want to hang around certain people. This is just not what you're into anymore. And okay. And look, sometimes it's not that easy, right? Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes that place you might want to go to, but you know that you shouldn't. So you don't. You're keeping your eyes on the prize. You're staying focused on your future. So I'm going to stay away from those things that I know are going to keep me from the Most High. Okay. But now you have this philosophy that says, oh, girl, you ain't got to worry about none of that. You can still keep doing everything you're doing. And I'm going to tell you how to get a man and how to get the money you want so you can live the life that you want. They used to call them snake oil salesmen. And they would ride in town on wagons and get up and make these big exhibitions or displays with this miracle cure promising to regrow your hair, return your vitality, make you 6 inches taller, cure all your ailments, right? They used to call them snake oil salesmen, but now you call them what? Dating gurus, dating experts, YouTube influencers. That's what you call them. Because that's what they're doing. Right? They ride into town on your local social media platform and they're yelling and screaming. Do you want love? Do you need finances? Are you not happy? Are you depressed and anxious? Can't figure out, where your next meal is coming from? You want to know your destiny? You're unsure about the future. I have all the answers to calm your anxiety. It's the same exact thing. And it's fake because not one time is there a note of self-examination. No one ever tells you that you may be possibly the problem. You are 30 years old and have never had a serious relationship. You may possibly be the problem. You're 30 years old and can't keep a man. You may possibly be the problem. You're 35 years old and got 5 kids by 5 different daddies and none of them want nothing to do with you. You may possibly be the problem, but no one is going to tell you that because you are not going to pay them to tell you that. What you mean? What you mean? Well, ma'am, sis, cousin, praise the Lord. The pastor isn't the only one trying to get rich off of selling you another doctrine, another way of life. Miss Cleo repackaged to not be able to recognize the witchcraft. Exactly. See, y'all recognize the scam in church. You recognize the prophet calling you up. You recognize the $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 prophecy line. And, more amount, the higher your offering amount, the deeper your prophecy is going to get. You're used to seeing that. But y'all come on social media and you don't recognize a lot of these chicks got potions, got lotions, got makeup, got a lot of these chicks are selling you something. Because they're trying to convince you that along with this divine feminine crap, you need their clothes, their makeup, their hair, their shoes, their pocketbook. You need their material item to go along with this crap that they're teaching you to get the life that you need. It never fails. It doesn't fail. Whether they start out selling you something or they end up selling you, they're going to sell you something. And I want for us to be able to turn on the screen and pay attention to that little light bulb that goes off in your head that says, something don't seem right about this. Let me explain something to you. There is no such thing as unconditional love anywhere. Not even the Most High loves you unconditionally. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And see, the sooner we can accept that, and the sooner you can apply that to reality, the sooner you can look around and see, anything that I want, I'm going to have to work for. Anything worth having is worth working for. Anything worth having is worth sacrificing for. But we don't want to do that. We'd rather get out here and play games with these niggas' emotions. And then when they holding guns to our head, because you think that don't happen? You think that women die every day because they teasing these men online and or in person, over the phone, whatever. They're teasing them and playing these games. And as soon as they run this man pocket dry, the first time they tell him no, they ain't got nothing else for him. So now this dude is rightfully upset. Dude is rightfully upset. Nah, you're not just going to take all my money and walk away. And unfortunately, it's costing a lot of our sisters their lives. But y'all won't look and see what's going on. All these women are doing is repackaging the witchcraft. Just like Miss Cleo. What Miss Cleo do? She got up on here with her accent and told y'all to call her, and she was going to tell you the future for 99, $2.99, however much a minute. But instead of you being obedient to the word of God and letting him reveal things to you in time, you'll give these people your money and then turn around and pray to God to provide for you. When if you would have just listened to him in the first place. I know how it feels to want something, right? I know how it feels to be looking for answers in my life. I know that feeling. I get it. Wanting to know why and how come this hasn't happened for me. Angelina, shalom and shalom. I understand the feeling. And I also know the feeling of not being obedient to the Most High and following behind the glittery, flashy answer that the devil has for you that's going to provide something for you right now, you think. And that fails. And it will continue to fail time and time again. Because if you're listening to this message, whether live or in the replay, I believe that God has more for you than to be out here playing these $2 games, wasting your time. God has more for the Most High. God has more for you than to be following behind a pantheon of dead gods and goddesses who can't hear or breathe or eat that food that you set before them. Yeah, see, this is what y'all don't understand. These dating gurus, these women that y'all listening to, they have altars set up in their homes to these false goddesses. They put food out. I saw a ritual. They had a altar in like the living room or whatever for the female goddess, Ocean. That was her altar. And then there was a closet, a little secret closet for her male counterpart. The male counterpart had to eat in a closet, and they would put the food in a closet for him. And now they didn't. I want to know what you did with the food afterwards. That's all I ever want to know. What you do with the food afterwards? You throw it away because nothing is eating it. Nothing is eating it. It's just sitting there. And see, this is what I'm saying. You don't understand that, but that's what they're doing. They're not going to come out and tell you that. They'll sit up here and call it the divine feminine, the answer to all your problems. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but they are victimizing y'all. They are victimizing you. They'll sell you their makeup, they'll sell you their things, and they're no worse than a pastor that gets up and preaches on Sunday and passes the plate around after a bum message because they don't care about you once they have your money. It's the same. It's the stuff that y'all claim that y'all hated so much in the church. You turn on your social media and sit right there for it. I guess you just like it more because it's in the comfort of your own home. I mean, and if you really think about it, when you was going to church, they wasn't telling you that you had to keep the law either. They wasn't pressing you about obedience. What they say, oh, there's enough grace to cover your sins. No need to feel guilty. We won't judge you. There's now no condemnation. It's okay. This is why Jesus died. Jesus died for your sins. So what? You're forgiven before you even ask. Yes. That's what they teaching in church these days. So how is that any different from me? Not me, but how is that any different from any of these other crackhead messages that's going out over this internet? Any person that is trying to lead you down a path of success is going to have steps that are going to require sacrifice and lead to your improvement. If you look at things like the seven habits of highly effective people or whatever, it's about a sacrifice, waking up early or making a schedule, cutting your dead things out, your time wasters. It's always about tightening up, minimizing your life so that you can focus on your goal. Where is any of that? And I hate to tell you, I hate to say this, but it seemed like the death of Kevin Samuels has just left a vacuum, and now you got all these freaking witches coming up totally misleading, okay? Because listen, Kevin Samuels may not have been going by the Bible, but the principles that he was teaching to these women were definitely biblical. Y'all just don't like the word submission, cooperation, femininity. The Bible talks about us being so delicate that our feet would not dare touch the ground. There was a time when we lived like that. But now, y'all out here trying to be men. Y'all out here trying to be rough and tumble. You want to hunt and gather. It's not. And nobody, y'all see, y'all gonna be mad at me for saying this, but look, there's no man. There's no viable male authority in the dating sphere. And now look what we have. We have a bunch of women. He was really teaching these women. He was. And there are women who will come and say, I got myself together. I got myself in shape. Kevin Samuels saved my marriage. I found me a good man because But now you have that message. And listen, again, I'm not saying he was sitting up here teaching Bible, but the man was teaching structure, discipline, and sacrifice. And these witches ain't teaching y'all none of that. None of that. They get on here looking a hot mess they self. And listen, no shade to nobody that has issues with your weight. I'm not picking on you. I'm not saying I'm the slimmest. I'm not saying that I don't struggle with my additional 10, 15 pounds. Yes, I do sometimes. But ma'am, sis, cousin, to me. Now, if you are morbidly obese, what the hell can you tell me about anything in my life? If you cannot control yourself enough to not feed yourself into a grave, what can you tell me about anything? But y'all won't look at that. Y'all don't look at that. Oh, it sound good. Oh, she might be big, but she flies, so that's okay. No, that's not okay. That is not okay. We get caught up looking at the wrong things. Y'all got to start doing better, even in our real life interactions. And my husband had to help me learn this lesson. If a woman is married, if her husband is not the type of man that you would go for, that's probably not you and this woman probably not gonna be friends. Like y'all not gonna mesh well. You don't think the same, you don't have the same values. And I had to learn that the hard way. I thought I had a friend, and as usual, we fell out over something really stupid. And my husband was sitting there like, I told you to leave her alone. and I told myself I thought we were alike, right? Because it's easy to make your mouth say whatever you want to say. Like I can sit here and tell you, oh yes, I love to read. I like classical music. You know, my playlist is very diverse. And you can repeat the same things to me and make me think that you and I have so much in common. And oh my goodness, you're just like me. Pull these heifers' resumes. If she married, if she got a boyfriend, if that is not the kind of man that you would go for, why are you listening to her? Because whatever advice that she's going to give you is going to attract that kind of bum. Now, if that's the kind of bum you're looking for, by all means, slurp it up. A lot of these women got frying pan, skillet pan, baking pan, cooking pan, all kind of pans at home. PAN. Y'all know what I'm saying? The men just sit around, let them be on this internet, looking any kind of way, saying any kind of thing, posting any kind of thing. And this man ain't got half a cojones to stand up to her and tell her anything. And that's the way she like it. And now you out here talking about you want a man of God that's going to lead, provide, and protect for your family. I'm going to tell you right now, a man of God ain't going to put up with that crap. And that's what a lot of y'all don't want to deal with. You going to have to get yourself better. You want to present yourself, you want to be presented blameless and spotless before a holy God, but you won't put the work in to get one of his men to be willing to present you as blameless and spotless. You won't shut up and sit down enough for the man to give you some instruction to teach you how to become blameless and spotless. You won't shut up because you think you got all the right answers. And then as soon as something happened, you want to blame him. But if you would have shut up and listened to him in the first place, you wouldn't be in this position. Or even if you was, then it'd be on him. And all he could say is, I'm sorry, honey, I'm going to fix it. And then that's it. But y'all get out here and you listen to women who have bum niggas and then wonder why you keep ending up with bum niggas. Nah, you ain't the only one, sis. Peter Pan ass. But that's why you can't get it right. Look at the bait you're setting. You're setting bait for dummies because only a dummy falls for makeup and wigs and short skirts and tight dresses. Only a dummy with no self-control falls for that. And now don't get me wrong, a man is supposed to be attracted to you. He's going to be attracted to you. Okay? But there's a difference between being attracted to sleep with you and wanting to marry you. But because all you offer was shallow and quick and right here and right now, there's no need for them to stick around to find out if you're worth marrying. They don't need, you know why? Because you're showing them right now that you're not. Why you sitting up there batting your eyes, telling these lies and thinking that you're spinning this web to get him caught in? He's thinking in his head, all right, now, how much do I gotta pay to hit this? And how long is it gonna take? All right, I'm gonna get this shit 3 weeks. And if she ain't putting out in 3 weeks, I'm gone. Maybe I'll stay around and hit it twice if it's good. I could be lying. Let me shut up. Because I could be lying. I don't know. I'm not a man. I don't know. What's going on TikTok? I could be lying. But I don't think that I am. Y'all know I'm not lying. Because if you keep it real with yourself, all the personal evidence in your life supports what I'm saying. Not you, somebody else. You're not going to grow. Listen, you have to be willing to answer to someone. And witchcraft is an easy escape to not have to answer to someone, but to still be able to blame everyone else for your problems. What do we love to say? It's not them. It's not me. It's them. I'm not the problem. Everyone else is. Ma'am, sis, cousin. As my great grandmama used to say, once is a mistake, twice maybe, but 3 is just a good time. And that means if it happened to you by the 3rd time, then you are a willing participant and you let it happen. You wanted it to happen. You willed it to happen. Your behavior led this to happen. And it's the 3rd time. So you should know. Y'all be on your 5th, 6th, 7th time and still walking around in circles like a dummy. Chasing your tail like a snake, just constantly turning on yourself, doing the same dumb stuff over and over again because you don't want to make the sacrifice. You don't want to be obedient, not realizing that obedience is kind of dope. Like, I'm not sure. And I know listen, I know what you're saying, right? Oh, it's easy to be obedient when you're married. Not always. Not always. No, sex is not a temptation for me. I get that whenever I want. But you think it's easy being submissive all the time? Is that what y'all think? Do you think it's easy for me to always keep my mouth closed and keep my words in my stomach? You know what I'm saying? Do you think it's always easy for me to control my emotions? Do you think that I don't have feelings? And I know what some of y'all are thinking, oh girl, you don't punch nobody clock. You living a good life. You just shut up and do what that man tell you to do. And I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was sitting on the other side of that screen, I'd be telling myself the same thing. Like, what could you possibly have to complain about? Okay, but I live this life every day. Okay, the smart ones know. The girls who get it. I live this life every day. Okay. And so let me just tell you, no, like I have no major complaints. Honestly, I have no major complaints. But there's stuff that happens during the day. Like I might be tired, and this man asked me to go get him something, and I just might not want to. So, but I'm a stuff that I don't want to, and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go do it because that's obedience. Y'all don't want to you keep investing in the wrong things and wonder why you're not getting any good returns. You're planting bad seed. You're planting evil seeds. You're planting seeds of witchcraft, demise, destruction, and rebellion, and you wonder why you're not growing any good things in your life. You're not going after patience, meekness, long suffering, self control, and temperance. Well, I'm trying to remember the fruits of the spirit. You're not going for these. You're not these aren't the seeds that you're planting. You're planting seeds of manipulation and controlling others and deceit and lies. And for some reason, we make this mistake of thinking that God loves us so much more than he loves other people, that he's going to make other people's lives conducive to our plan no matter what. What do you mean by that? Y'all sitting up here playing these niggas back and forth and but want God to help you. Like, oh Lord, please help me not to get caught. Well, no, ma'am, you shouldn't have gave both of them niggas a key. Lord, please help me not to get caught. Well, you shouldn't have handed him the phone. You shouldn't have been lying. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't want nothing to do with God until it's time for him to get you out of the mess that you got yourself in. And that can't keep working. Yes, he has mercy. Don't get me wrong. And yes, hey, you're here for as long as he says you're here. So if it's not your time to go, no, you're not gonna go. But ma'am, says cousin, what kind of condition are you going to be living in? What kind of mental state? What kind of emotional state? What kind of physical state are you going to be living in? Are you going to be healthy enough to hope for a good relationship, to build a good relationship? Or are you going to be so scarred and messed up that you can't even decently communicate with someone? I wish that older women would start being more honest about their life experiences. I really do. Because I think a lot of them will tell you, this is what I did wrong and this is what I should have done. But they won't. They too full of pride. It's another form of the divine feminine, the black woman who can do no wrong, who protects her children and puts everybody in line, even the men. That whole big mama mentality that they tried to lay on black women, that's another form of this divine feminine. Anytime you see a woman ruling over a man, that is wrong, that is out of order, that is demonic, and you need to get away from it. Any woman that is sitting here telling you how to manipulate men, that is wrong, that is demonic, and you need to get away from her. We got to start calling a spade a spade. Listen, I don't like the term gold digger, okay? I don't like it because it's used in a it's used in a derogatory manner. And women say it to each other too. You know, a lot of women like, oh, only broke niggas say gold digger. No, that's not true. A lot of women like to weaponize that word against other women. And to me, I was called a gold digger. Okay. But in my mind, I just know what kind of life I want to live. And I'm aware of what it's going to take to secure that kind of life. So if I don't even see you have the potential to put me in that bracket, why am I waste my time? Some people would call that gold digging. I call it knowing what you want. Regardless of that, you do not have to resort to witchcraft to get what you want. You might have to put in some hard work, and this is the problem. Nobody want to work with anybody these days. These women are so busy talking about women like me and a lot of other wives who choose to partner with their husband to build something for the glory of God and for the purpose of their family. They so busy on this internet screaming about how we pick Mishas and Barbara the Builders and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, they miserable sitting up here selling $5 lipsticks. But all your bills is paid. Pay attention to what these women is saying to you. If she running all this game and got all these niggas paying her bills, why, ma'am, sis cousin, are you selling makeup on YouTube? Why? If your bills is paid, why is your Cash App up? You're doing so well. You're out here giving advice to other women about how to get the kind of man that they want. Why then do you need anything from anybody? Or however much the lipstick, however much the lipstick. I'm now listen, okay, because I'm not against anybody making a living, making an income. Listen, get your paper boo-boo. But what you're not gonna do is play in my face and tell me that you have the answer to all my financial problems and then turn around and ask me to pay for something. That's not gonna work. Which one is it? Are you good or are you just greedy? Because if you're telling me that you're good and you don't need any money and you found a man to pay all your bills, but you're still asking me for stuff, either way, I'm insulted. My intelligence is insulted. I feel like you don't really have my best interest at heart. See, but we won't sit down and examine anything long enough. We're not taught to think critically. We're just taught to take words at face value. Right? We don't think critically. Like anybody can say stuff. I'm agreeing with you, sis. Right? Don't be on here. Right? Exactly. Low key begging. Exactly. I'm manifesting my best life, and can you send me $5? No. Manifest. Challenge them like Elijah had to challenge the prophets of Jezebel. Challenge them like he had to challenge them prophets. Wet it. When he challenged them and said whose God was gonna bring fire, and they set up the sacrifice, and the prophets of Jezebel was out there dancing and singing and hooping and hollering all day and all night too, and then nothing happened. And when it was Elijah's turn, what he said, wet mine, because I know my God gonna show out. But y'all won't do that. Y'all won't call these women to task. Y'all won't make them put their money where their mouth is. No, you'll let them take your money and put it where their mouth is. And how is that smart? And that's what I don't like. You take people who are already downtrodden, who are already looking for an answer, and you put them into even more of a hole. How evil, how wicked, and how disgusting do you have to be to have someone come to you for help and put on your sheep's mask and dig the hole even further under their feet? How disgusting are you? How wicked are you? How do you live with yourself? What kind of conscience are you lacking? That's that's why I'm talking about this. That is why this needs to be exposed. I personally, okay, I care about every soul in that I'm a child of the Most High. I'm a servant of the Most High. And my mission here on earth is to seed water so that he can get the increase. Okay. In that capacity, I want everyone to be saved. I want everyone to come to the kingdom. And, but also, I realize that everyone is not. And so, personally, I don't care about the choices that they make. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But what I cannot sit by is and watch happen is to see sisters who are actually looking for something keep being fooled and misled. It's like the Pied Piper. You just playing the flute and leading them right to hell. And that's what I can't stand by and watch. That is why I feel so compelled to expose this and to talk about this. And I'm not going to let this go. I'm not, because even as people are starting to realize, like, hold on, this is some witchcraft. These witches is getting bolder and bolder and deeper into it. And now they're starting to expose the dark divine feminine. Now they're bringing that out and bringing that up as if we aren't already living in revelation. I I I I can't sit back and watch my sisters be victimized and not say something. And they keep the answers about their witchcraft very shallow. Like, oh, people just hating on me because they can't get a man and they can't have what I have. You selling lipstick on YouTube. Shut up. Like, clearly you're no, 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 no. Clearly, it's not what you cracking it up to be. And we won't sit back and critically listen to these heifers' stories. Break things down. Like this one woman was telling a story about how she went on a date, and he wasn't her husband yet, but they was on a date and he went to the hotel to get the room. Now, mind you, they already at the hotel, okay? He at the hotel, he go to get the room. The phone ring and she pick it up and it's his wife. And they have this conversation or whatever, and supposedly she telling the wife about how her husband pay all her bills and all this other stuff. So the man get back in the car and she's like, take me home, take me home. And then later on, when she's telling the story, she's like, well, we stayed at the hotel, but we ain't do nothing. Girl, who you think you talking to? Who do you think you talking to? And then the next morning, she says she's telling the story, and she's like, so the next day he went emptied out his joint bank account. I thought his wife didn't know that he was paying all your bills. But now you talking about, oh, he got to empty out the joint account before his wife take all the money. Which one is it? Which which one is it? But we're not taught to listen critically and call these people out on their junk. And that's what I want. That is what I need us to start doing. Listening with our discernment. Listen, if you're listening to somebody and it don't sit right with your spirit, don't sit around to figure it out. Especially if you know that you're in a broken state right now. If you know you're hurt, you're going through a lot emotionally, don't stick around to find out. As soon as that starts sounding not good to you, or as soon as you start realizing, like, hold up, something they saying ain't don't sound right, turn away from it. Because while you are broken and while you are looking, it these things can, excuse me, sound good. What are seducing spirits, right? It sounds good. It feels good. It seems like this is going to be the answer to my problem, but I guarantee you, all it's going to do is push you further away from the answer to your problem. That's all it's going to do. It's not going to land you the life you want. It's not going to work. You're not going to wake up one day and all your problems are going to be solved. That's not how any of this works. And what I would hate for any of my sisters and cousins to continue doing is to continue wasting time and wasting money. I mean, if that's the case, then just go back to church. Go back to church and pay your tithes. If that's what you're gonna do, it's the same thing. Go back to church and give an offering. I mean, at least at church you be around people, right? When you're at home online, it's just you and a computer. Think of it as club entry fee or whatever. You can be around people and socialize. I mean, I just want y'all to stop falling for the okie doke. We gotta stop falling for the okie doke. There's no quick answers and right solutions. Your process with the Most High is gonna take as long as it's gonna take. Your growth is gonna take as long as it's gonna take. Your healing is gonna take as long as it's gonna take. He don't need your help. I was talking to someone, and they were telling me about voodoo. Their family practiced voodoo, and they were saying, like, no, we believe in God. We just believe that sometimes he needs some help. He don't need your help. He ain't asked you for no help. Those of y'all from different parts of the world, you practice your Santeria and your hoodoo and your voodoo. It's all the same stuff. God does not need your help. He didn't ask you to tie nothing up. He didn't ask you to light no candles. He didn't ask you to bake no cakes. He didn't ask you to do none of that. And people want to say, oh, I'm fighting white supremacy by sticking with my African spirituality. No. That's not the answer either. They didn't take voodoo and hoodoo and change the images and the pictures and that. No, they took the Bible and changed the images and the pictures. So you're not fighting white supremacy. No, white supremacy does not care if you're a witch. Not at all. Probably makes them happy. Another Israelite not keeping the law. You're the goal. Your goals for white supremacy. You're not fighting it. If anything, you're aiding and abetting because now you're leading more women down that path. It's time to wake up, y'all. We can't keep walking around in a stupor like reality isn't reality. It's 2023. Life is getting real. The world is spinning and it is not playing. Time don't play. The time for this empire is winding up. And I'm not saying out of desperation, I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is if you know right, you better get you with a good solid soldier, a good solid man of the Most High and build y'all something. Build y'all some income streams, build y'all a family, grow your own food. Get back to the law and commandments, you and your family. But you're not going to get that if you're out here playing these games, chasing these bums, and listening to witches. That is not how it's going to happen. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate everybody for kicking it with me this evening, whether you were on YouTube or TikTok. Listen, if you're on TikTok, head over to the YouTube at Miss Mono's World. Give me a subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when I'll be going live. If you're already on the YouTube, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I know y'all see my shirt. I am an official sponsor of the F3 French Up Family Festival. July 30th, Bean Acres, Atlanta, Georgia. I hope to see you guys there. If you need, I don't have the caption for it, but you can always follow my husband. Our businesses, not just the Why Boaz on Your Ass podcast, but our businesses are also sponsors. So please, you can follow him. You can get the flyer, share the flyer to everyone. Listen, y'all, we have people, we have people coming in from all over the country to be a part of this. It is so exciting already. They do need volunteers, drivers, servers, security, just event staff. So if it is in your heart to serve, please have a heart to serve because they are expecting a huge crowd. As a sponsor, we would love for them to have a huge crowd. So please, if you have the heart to serve, info at, I think the email is info at 3mgentertainment.com. But I will post it for y'all. I will post it for y'all later on. Also, I know some of you all have been waiting. I'm gonna update y'all on the litters soon. We got some litters of some pups coming. I'll keep y'all updated, but you can keep up with the pups at Mono's West Side Bullies on IG. I don't want to say TikTok. They're on my TikTok though. So if you want to come on over to my TikTok, you can see the bullies on my TikTok and on their Instagram. Also, listen, I don't know if y'all know, but I be on TV. Your girl be on TV. You can download the Nasai TV app. It's on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your Apple TV, all those good things. Download the Nasai TV app. I'm there Thursdays at 8 o'clock going live. Also, let's see, didn't know they needed volunteers, but I would love to. Okay, send me a DM, Angelina, and I will get you the information. I'm so happy you're gonna volunteer. Yay! I cannot wait to see so many of you guys. Cause like none of y'all live in Georgia, right? So I cannot wait to see you guys. It is guaranteed to be a good time. There's going to be great music. There's going to be a kid zone, like 7 bouncy houses. You can come and let the kids run around. The tickets are only $10. There are also VIP tents available. Listen, okay? It gets hot here. So if you can spring for it, spring for the VIP tent. Even if not, there'll be plenty of, we're going to have water, okay? Don't you worry. There will be ice cold water for everyone. There's going to be plenty of great food. I'm really excited about I'm really excited about a couple of the food trucks, okay? But this is all clean, lawful food, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You and your kids can enjoy. Bring the whole family out. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys. It's going to be some great performances by some totally righteous artists. Love a family event. You can bring the family, the kids can chill, you can chill, find some other moms to kick it with. It's going to be amazing. Amazing. Okay, let me see. What else did I have to give y'all? That's it as far as that stuff. But yeah, no, like I really want to encourage y'all because it really just bothers my soul. Like it burns my spirit to see this kind of stuff going on. And it's the taking advantage of the downtrodden. And when I say the downtrodden, I don't always mean like physically destitute, poor, homeless. I also mean spiritually, emotionally downtrodden, because when you're talking about women who are, wanting a husband, wanting a man, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about emotions. And then you have women out here who are trying to date and just can't get it to go right. You're talking about emotions. Okay. These women are taking it, and we know how we feel. We know how to talk to us. We know what to say to us. Stop taking advice from these bums. Stop it. People who have nothing to offer you in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can tell you to dress sexy and toss your hair. That should be like girl 101. I don't understand why. No, I do understand because at that point it's not innocent, right? At this point, you're like purposely out trying to hurt and manipulate people. You're no better than a freaking Madoff. You may not be running a Ponzi scheme. That's only because you probably haven't figured out how to. Right? Like, examine yourself. Look at the kind of content that you're taking in. Look at the kind of advice that you're taking in. Look at the things that you're doing. Do you even have a conscience? That's the first thing. The things that you're doing wrong, do they bother you? And if the answer to that is no, baby, you got a lot of praying to do. And also, if the answer to that is yes, you got a lot of praying to do too. You know what I'm saying? Both situations are poor. Excuse me, but at least if you can realize what's the first sign of getting help, admitting that you have a problem, right? So at least if you could realize, like, this isn't the direction I want to be in. This is not what I want to be doing. I need to find something else. And now you're at a point, and we always talk about this, right? Getting to the point where you can be honest with yourself, honest with the Most High, get your prayer life together, go to Him, right, and let Him work it out for you instead of leaning into the arms of flesh. This is what happens when you lean into the arms of flesh. This is why you don't lean on your own understanding, because in your mind it sounds right, but what does the Bible say about it? The only way to get guaranteed results is the word of God. What? Because the blessings of God make us rich and addeth no sorrow. Well, what do you mean addeth no sorrow? Okay, yeah, you got the man, but you don't want him now. It's been 2 years and you can't stand this nigga. You might got that car, but can you afford the car note? Now you car poor. You got to figure out everything else around your car note. Make it rich and addeth no sorrow. When God gives you something, He just gives it to you. There's no stress with that. So listen closer for those of you who are in these social media streets listening to, the advice that's given. Always examine the source. Always examine the source. And man, if it's not from the Bible, I wouldn't have nothing to do with it. If it's not the truth of the Bible, I wouldn't have anything to do with it at all. The Bible should be your the Bible should be your measuring stick. And if it's not built on this foundation, then don't have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. There's some good godly content out here. It is. Let's try to find it and get them on here. You know what I'm saying? Show them to y'all. I guess we'll figure something out. But stop listening to these witches and these astrologers and this divine feminine and these goddesses and all this. Time out for that. Stop listening to them. Let's get back to the law of the Most High. Let's turn back to the things that the Most High had for us to do. Let's move in His timing. Let's move according to His plan for our life. This is the only way that you're going to have any kind of decent life. I'm not just making that up. All right, it is time for me to go. I had so much fun with y'all. It's been me, Miss Mono. Like, share, subscribe, follow me on your favorite social media platform. If you feel led to give to the House of Mono, please head to the Cash App, $, the House of Mono. I'm available on IG, TikTok. DM me. You have a topic you want me to discuss? Holla at me. I love to look things up, so I have no problem with that. If you're on YouTube, Nasaya TV, TikTok, wherever you're watching me from, thank you so much. I love you. Good night.
One time for my king doing